We are live and this is the wild, so if you are a bit sensitive to something like this would probably be the perfect moment to go and make a cup of tea and perhaps some toast. It is very, very sad, of course, to see something like this, but in the same breath we are also privileged to be able and sitting and witnessing things like this. I know guides who have worked in the bush for I don't know how many years and have never seen lions taking down prey, always getting there just too late. So the fact that we've been able to see something like this so often, really consider yourselves lucky. Remember, if this buffalo was unfortunately ill of some kind, it would have probably died on its own. And it would have fed the vultures, it would have fed the hyenas. But it seems as though obviously the lions have got to it first. Remember, they've got to fill all those little cubs' bellies to ensure their survival as well. That's one of the most important things. I'm also quite thankful that we've got a bit of a breeze coming through again. Come on, little buffalo, go to sleep. See, those cubs don't really know what to do. You can see they're just sort of biting wherever they can. The ones at the back had an idea. They were biting on the rump, licking on the rump, which is, we know why they do this, to try and increase the blood flow. Like I said, very similar to what they do on the spine, but a dangerous spot to be in right at the back there. I think the lionesses have had enough now of these little ones playing around. Now, Thomas, you're wondering where the rest of the buffalo herd is and why they didn't come back to save this little calf. I haven't seen any buffalo around here, and I know you said that you think that this buffalo probably couldn't be alone at its age, but if it was ill and it fell behind, the herd could have quite easily moved off and left it stranded. Myself and David, as we were driving along this afternoon, we saw a couple of buffalo on their own, but adults. And I think that the Nkuhumas have been sort of splitting up the herds quite a bit, especially, remember, they did catch another juvenile buffalo earlier today. So maybe in the commotion of that, this little one got separated. We can only really speculate as to what happened because we didn't see the kill from start to finish. Maybe the herd was away, but maybe it wasn't a big herd. See, unfortunately, now we don't get to see the big breeding herds of buffaloes because there's food available. Those big herds have split up and into smaller groups now. So sometimes you only see a handful of females together and only a couple of buffalo versus the very impressive Nkuhuma pride as well as the Birminghams. It's easier enough for them to turn and chase the rest of the buffalo away. And to a point, those buffalo will not want to risk their lives anymore and will actually move off and move away. I'm not hearing so many distress or too much of a distress call coming from that buffalo now. Remember, it is extremely hot in here, out here at the moment. And that buffalo could also get quite exhausted sitting out in the sun, out in the heat of the day. So it unfortunately has a number of things, a number of elements against it this afternoon. Here are the cubs fighting. One of the little cubs is clearly not interested in the buffalo at all. It's on the tree. Now, Afa, you're wondering if I've ever gotten emotional over a sighting sort of similar to this, where the animals is playing with their kill rather than, you know, killing it instantly. And of course I have. Especially very on in my sort of early guiding days. I I remember seeing my first kill, and it was absolutely horrific. But I knew that it was nature. I mean, I used to be the kind of person, and I've done safaris my entire life, that even on TV, if I was watching a documentary and they were about to show a kill, I would change the channel. I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't watch anything where any animals were harmed. But as I started to get older and I started to study and I understood everything behind it, I sort of come to realize that this is one of these things. This is what happened before humans were even around, is that these animals lived like this. The buffalo went around eating, and of course the lions would be in hot pursuit looking for something to eat. It's the same thing. Imagine if there weren't any herbivores around to eat, we wouldn't have any predators. I don't think anybody would even like to see a starving lion. That would be probably, to me, because we love these lions so much, we know these lions, we've built relationships with them. I think that it would be even more sad to see an emaciated lion, sort of, than how we would feel when we see a dying buffalo. It is all very sad, but we just have to sort of remove that human emotion from a sighting like this and just take it for what it is and look at them as its predator or prey. If the lions don't eat, well, then they die. These two little cubs are not interested in learning anymore, though. They were more interested in chasing a bird and now playing with each other. And we'll probably reposition again once Aubrey's probably, I think he's going to move out of the sighting, and then we'll maybe be able to get a little bit closer. We're quite far away, actually. We're probably about 70 meters away from the sighting. I know that they're out in the open and it is lovely, but like I said, I'm going to give them space because there's so many cars here. We all want to see this. You can hear those ones at the back fighting. Oh no, there's my favorite lion. Is that her? With a floppy ear? The one on the left? Yes, it looks like it. Hey, my favorite little girl. Yes, my mangy little lion. The one with the biggest personality, I think, of all of the little cubs. This is just absolutely incredible. You can see that, I think that buffalo is still breathing slightly. But I think the heat of the day is probably going to get to it as well. Sorry, we're just shuffling a couple of things around in the vehicle. You can see the little ones are quite tired, and I think that they've done quite a bit of work today. Running around in the hot sun, of course, now practicing techniques that they've been practicing on each other. You can see that little one got a bit of a fright there, obviously, as that buffalo kicked around. That buffalo is still going. And these two little ones, of course, playing up on the log. Like I said, the lions, especially these little cubs, they are very much fascinated by fallen trees. And, well, just trees in general. It's quite lovely to see them practicing their balancing acts, and I think it's so important for the development and strengthening of muscles as they grow. Right, we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to sit with these beautiful Nkuhumas for a little bit longer, but I think let's quickly go back across to James and see how he's going.